Roman Travers. Magic Talk.
So important at this time of the year to make sure your dogs are happy, because we're all focused on us and what we want and what we need. But Darren Rowe from Mindfulness for Dogs is here. G'day, Darren.
Good day. How are you today?
I'm good. It's that time of the year where you're focused on going away and getting stuff wrapped up, and your dogs may be overlooked a little bit.
Well, yeah, and it's quite often this is the time when we all get new dogs and puppies, isn't it? So I always argue whether Christmas is the right time to buy a dog, just because we never really know if we've got the time to put in. But one thing that I've noticed over the years is that in terms of me getting calls, around Christmas is actually one of the busiest times. And I think I've worked out why. People generally can ignore their dogs, can't they, during the year? They can just, they're so busy and everything, the behaviours just creep up and they're not too bothered. And then suddenly they're all thrown together around for maybe 3-4 weeks of Christmas. And then it's like, oh my God, what is going on with my dog? I got to sort it out. So one of the things I wanted to talk about very quickly, really, it's just about dog trainers in general, and how do we pick a dog trainer? How do we pick a good dog trainer? Because one of the things that I've noticed is that I could do a one-day course with somebody, and then I could call myself a dog trainer. And I could then sell myself on the internet with a really good website, and you could come to me and pay me lots of money, but you don't know really what you're getting, do you?
So how do you know, as a consumer, when you go onto the internet, how do you know who to choose?
Well, it's really hard. In New Zealand, there's no actual recognised qualification, no government-approved recognised qualification like an NCA or that kind of thing for dog trainers. So I'm a member of the Association of Pet Dog Trainers, which is it's actually a worldwide organisation, the APDT, and we're the New Zealand branch. I'm a member of the New Zealand branch. And they've set standards and code of ethics so that you can be sure that when you go to their website and pick one of their trainers, that you're getting quality, high value product, really. I suppose that trainer really knows what they're doing.
Can I just ask, though?
Yeah.
It's like anything. We all, like if I ask 10 people their opinion on how to train a dog and they proclaim to be experts, you might get a wide variety of opinions. Some people believe that a rolled up newspaper and a bit of a slap on the nose is okay, but you don't believe in any of that.
No, so one of the things about this organisation and myself is that it's a force-free organisation, and it's the only way, in my opinion, the only way to train a dog. If you want to hurt your dog or you want to shock the dog or hit it on the head, why get a dog? I mean, there's no reason to, is it? They're meant to be your loving little pet.
Yeah. So, mind you, I do have to say that some of the dogs I've seen in cafes, the stupid little handbag dogs, they need a jolly good slapping.
Well,
they're so naughty.
I'd almost go along and say, well, let's look at the owners first, rather than that so much.
Speaking of looking at the owners, you and I had the pleasure of catching up on Thursday during the week with the dog that I borrow a lot. I love it a bit. Izzy, the borrowed Weimaraner.
Yes, isn't she gorgeous?
She is. She's a lovely dog. She's 5 years old. She's pretty set in her ways, isn't she?
She is, yeah. And a lot of dogs, after 5 years, they've done things habitually, and the same as us. We take them for a walk at exactly the same time. We feed them at the same time. So it's just a routine they've got into, and to break those routines are sometimes quite difficult, aren't they? Because why should they?
What are some of the things you noticed with Amanda as the owner? So Amanda came with us on the walk, and I just kind of observed really, and you noticed some key things straight away, which I hadn't even seen.
I'm always looking for an interaction between the dog and the owner when I see them. So whenever you come to me for a consult, the first thing we do is just walk around the paddock a little bit. And I'm really just looking at the dog and seeing, is there any interaction? Because that gives me an indication of, is there a relationship with the dog? And if there's no relationship, then sometimes it can be hard to train. Because the dog's more interested in everything else. So how exciting are you for your dog, really, I suppose? And one thing I noticed that there wasn't a lot of interaction there. So we changed that quite quickly, didn't we? And the best way of doing that is using a treat.
Yeah.
The dog's motivated, a toy, a treat, that kind of thing. Just get your dog interested in you, and then you can start to suggest some really good behaviours.
Yeah. Look, we'll come on to that in detail more throughout this in the next 10 or 15 minutes. I warmly invite you to call and get some advice around what you're thinking of doing with a dog, whether you want to get a particular breed, if that's the right breed for you. Any of those questions can be answered now with Darren Rowe, and the number is 0800 844 747. Now, I used to think in order to teach a dog to walk at your heel, it was because you had habitually had a packet of treats in your pocket. Is that the way to do it?
Well, I'd take a step right back, first of all, and think about, well, why does the dog want to walk with you? A dog wants to walk with you because it wants to be with you. Okay. So first of all, when you've got the collar on a dog, I guess, they're always trying to escape the collar because it hurts. So when they're pulling that, in my opinion, they're trying to escape that collar, and they just keep pulling and pulling and pulling to get away. So take it one step back and make that place, the heel place that we call heel, the best place in the world. Now, it doesn't have to be on the left-hand side. I think we talked about why dogs always walk on the left-hand side through the obedience. It's because normally we'd have a gun or a horse on the other side. not many people walk around like that, so it could be left or right. It's whatever works for you, really, whatever works for the dog as well.
Yeah.
My border collies are a little bit in front. They want to work ahead of me. My setters are kind of just anywhere, really.
Right.
But they're not pulling on the lead, and that's the important thing. They're not dragging me down the street.
I'm not trying to float Darren Rowe's boat here, but I can tell you now, it wasn't 30 seconds, within a minute of walking Izzy in a different way with a different style of lead, she was not pulling. Yeah. And I was going, what sort of witchery is this?
Well, we automatically assume it's the dog's fault, don't we, when the dog's pulling on the lead. But actually, it's all to do with the physics and the mechanics of the way that we use the lead. I mean, just think of it, common sense, really. You stick a collar on your neck and you start tugging that, you're going to want to get away from it. So it kind of sets up that push-pull, dog pulling away straight away. As soon as you take the pressure and put it somewhere else, and in this case, we put it on the chest, on the front of the body, she just relaxed, didn't she? You could just see the tension fall out of her body, and she was just walking quite nicely. So
for those who can't watch us, which is everybody at the moment, although in fairness, you can go and watch that video, can't you?
You can do now, yeah. If you go onto my Facebook page, just search Mindfulness for Dogs or M for Dogs, or even on Instagram now as well. You can find it and have a look. And like I say, there was nothing cut out there. We just... All right. What it was, wasn't it, really?
But for those without social media, where the video is, and you can go and watch how Izzy walked so beautifully with this harness, which for me is quite new. Okay. So describe that for people just with radio.
So it's a particular type of harness I like to use. I like to use Easy Dog harnesses, and it's the way the harness fits quite nicely around the dog, and it's a really easy one because it goes over the head, so there's no faffing around trying to get your feet in there and all that kind of stuff. But it's just the way I use the lead more than anything. So the lead takes the pressure off the neck and puts the pressure onto the chest. Which really just changes the whole dynamics. The dog is more balanced and more centered, and then they can see the wheel better.
But it was more than that too. It was the horse rope that you used, that beautiful big soft rope.
Yeah, so I like to use nice soft ropes because for me, a lot of the flat leads, they really hurt. If a dog does pull, it really hurts. And it's more we talked about horse riding, and when you're on a horse, if you suddenly yank the leads on a horse, you're over. They're going to throw you right over because they don't like it. And likewise dogs. So it's those subtle movements rather than sort of big yanks. That's just not going to work. And very small, subtle movements, almost like a trigger.
So there you go. You can teach an old dog new tricks. And Izzy she'd be so offended if she heard me now because she's not old. She's only 5.
No, she's only 5.
But I love the way that you had her focusing on you rather than the treat too. That connection with the owner is important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And one of the things that we do probably wrong when we're training dogs, we keep the treat there for a long time. People always say to me, do you use treats? Then the dog's not going to be interested in me. But when I use a treat, it's just to get that initial interaction, that initial reward. I mean, if you were doing a job and suddenly I said to you, Roman, that I'm not going to pay you, you probably wouldn't be too interested in doing the job. So you've got to give some kind of payment, some kind of reward. But then if you just keep paying the same amount, they get a bit blasé and then they're just working for the treat. So it's about working for you. Okay. So we shift the attention to the owner.
We're going to focus on Christmas coming up as well in the next 10, 15 minutes around which kennels should you choose, how do you choose one, and how long is too long to leave your dog alone. But if you've got questions, not alone, but that sounds mean, but with somebody else, that's not you. If you've got questions around your dog regarding a new puppy or anything at all, the number is 0800 844 747. And 0800 844 747 to have a chat with Darren Rowe from Mindfulness for Dogs. Don't be shy, he won't bite you. That is probably the biggest concern. I know we're going off on a bit of a segue here, but I noticed yesterday that my little buddy Aidan and we were walking in the Riverhead Forest, and there was a guy walking towards us with 2 dogs. Yeah. When he noticed us, he put a Welsh Border Collie on a lead. And I thought, that's unusual. They're a lovely, friendly dog. This one was horrible.
Yeah.
And when I said to Aidan, are you looking into that dog's eyes? Because this dog wanted to have a go, and it was focusing on Aidan. So he was staring at the dog. Why is that a problem? So
I always say if you don't know the dog, don't stare at the dog, because you never know what you're saying, and that full-on eye contact can be quite a challenge to a dog. That when dogs meet dogs, they sort of like look to the side. There's a whole lot of body language that sort of calms the situation down. But when we stare directly at a dog, it's quite intimidating, and that dog may be coming from a place of, right, this has happened a lot, I'm going to grab you, I'm going to go
really
get you, or it might be, well, I'm going to run away. When they're on the lead, because they can only flight or fight, can't they, really? Yeah. So when they're on a lead, they can't flight. So there's only one option really, isn't it? That's the fight. And that's why suddenly you get these dogs that lunge from nowhere and they're just feeling trapped in and they can't deal with it. So they just lunge forward. They're not necessarily aggressive. They're more sort of like scared and fearful.
He was a beautiful young Welsh Border Collie with eyes like David Bowie.
Yes.
Why is that? They had the two different coloured eyes.
That's called the Merle gene.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
Very cool.
We've got blue Merles where you get the whole striated colour and everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've got an eye that's slightly different, but I'm not David Bowie or a dog. Liz, good morning, Liz.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning, Liz.
To Darren. Hi, Darren. We've got we think 9-year-old Hunterway we inherited about a year ago, and we don't know his history.
Right.
But we find that when he gets frightened with storms, bangs, he just jumps on us and is fighting with us. What do we do?
When you say fighting, do you mean trying to bite you or...?
No, he just climbs and claws.
Right, so that's a typical sort of fear response, isn't it, really?
Yes.
So there's some really good products out there. Well, first of all, sorry, in terms of your behaviour, the last thing you really want to do is sort of like console him in a child way, so again, oh, there, you're fine, because that actually tends to make it worse, and you can see them starting to shake way more. That physical contact, I don't have a problem with the physical contact as long as you're not stroking him like crazily, unless you're doing some sort of calming massage, which is always good. But have you heard of the Thunder shirts?
It doesn't work. We've got one.
You've got one, have you? Oh, okay, because they're normally quite good. The other thing you can do is if he's crate trained, just depends on 9 years old. That might be something you might want to look at, because you can cover that up with a blanket, make it nice and calm, put the radio on in the background, and that might calm him down. But it's a hard one, because anything you add to in terms of talking, sort of stuff like that, is just getting him more and more excited and into that sort of fearful zone. So really just having a calm place for him to be. It will pass in the end.
Oh, yes, it does. It does pass. We give him Carmex tablets.
Yeah, some of those things are really good, definitely.
Which sort of help as long as we know something's going to happen. But obviously, we don't always know.
No, I mean, around Christmas time, there's going to be sort of fireworks and stuff like that off, so that's always worth sort of trying to think about.
But he'll just come and wake us up and, literally claw.
Oh, really?
And, we've tried putting him in rooms, but he's just claws the door.
Certainly I think he would need to be with you guys, because you're his stability, I would say. But it's how you act. It's about you being that role model and showing complete calmness and quietness, rather than sort of saying, oh, there's a good boy, you're okay, you'll be fine, because that's quite a weak thing. Yeah.
We don't do that. We just, even if we're in the same room, you can't sit down. He'll climb on you. You've got to be standing.
Okay.
And even then he's climbing up.
Yeah, it sounds like quite a real fear-based anxiety there. And what I'd probably recommend over the phone is probably not something, I mean, all the things you're doing sounds the kind of thing I'd be recommending, but I'd probably try and enlist a proper canine behaviourist to help you with that one if it was me.
Right.
Yep.
No, that's, we've thought about that.
I would do, because it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better.
Right.
Yeah, and then it might end up being other behaviours that then you've got to deal with, like aggression.
Might pay to get in touch, Liz, with Darren Roy at Mindfulness for Dogs.
That would be a good idea, yeah. And I can, if you're not in my area, I can certainly recommend you somebody.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Liz.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz.
Now, at this time of the year, if you haven't already booked in with a kennel, you're going to probably find it very hard to find one, right?
I don't think you're going to get one now, to be honest. The local kennels around us, there's some like 6 months booked up for Christmas.
Is
But
it
you
fair
never know,
to say,
try.
would it be fair to say that any decent kennel would be booked out, or is that just a fallacy?
Or, I would say so, wouldn't you? I mean, if a kennel's worth its weight in gold, then they'll be booked up and they'll have a waiting list. But if I would be arguing, if they're not booked up, then why? But then go and see them, just because somebody else doesn't like them doesn't mean it's not...
But how do you know? Are they regulated in any way by the councils?
I don't think so. I don't think there's many regulations. One thing I have found, though, is go onto the grapevines, the Facebook grapevines, and just ask for recommendations, and you get real positive and negative feedback, and you can really weigh up the situation. People are pretty good at telling you if they don't like places.
Yeah, true. It is difficult when you don't use Facebook, and some of us can't stand the site, but, some love it. But anyway, look, there are different ways. Maybe just talk to people that you know that have dogs as well.
Yeah. And phone up a dog trainer. I mean, they tend to not give recommend places, but what they'll tell you is if they've heard anything bad from other places, from clients and stuff like that.
Sounds good. 9, 0800 844 747. Ring that number and you can have a free chat now with Darren Rowe from Mindfulness for Dogs. When it comes to buying stuff, for Christmas, a lot of the stuff you're buying, your dog's never going to have seen before. What's some of the stuff that's really dangerous with dogs?
Yeah, so Christmas is a festive time, isn't it? And we get in all those special things that we think make Christmas for us. And sometimes they're I know they're probably not very good for us either, to be honest, but there are some key things that we really need to be careful of, okay, because dogs can get really ill over Christmas because we're not really thinking necessarily, and we just drop things down. If we've got kids throw things on the floor. So I've got a few things. I'll just mention some. If you do want to find the definitive list, you can go onto my Facebook page, and there's a link to all of the documents that I'm going to talk about, so you can get and there's more information there. There's a company called petfat.co.nz. They do first aid stuff, so it's a really good website. So first one, alcohol. Okay, dogs do not drink alcohol. And I know we don't feed our dogs alcohol, but we quite often drop our glasses down on the floor and the old dog gets a nose in there like it's a cup of tea.
Can I just say that's completely wrong? Dogs love beer.
No, they do, that's right.
But they're not supposed to.
But they're not meant to, because it dehydrates them completely, doesn't it? And I think it dehydrates them way quicker than us, and it can lead to liver failure and all sorts of
Sorry about that, dogs. Dogs of my past.
Yeah, says more about yourself, I think. Artificial sweeteners. Now, xylitol, that's a killer of dogs. Okay? And that's in lots of little sweeties, and we're all trying to be healthy, so we don't have the proper sugars, and we go for those artificial sugars. Whether that's healthy or not is another thing.
Aspartame.
But that can kill a dog really quickly. I've actually know someone who a dog stole some chewing gum, and it killed him within 15 hours. That dog was dead.
Oh no!
Nothing they could do about it either. So really careful on the old xylitol and that sort of thing. Chewing gums. Some classic ones, chocolate.
Yeah.
And I hear this all the time. Yeah, my dog stole chocolate and he's fine, but there's long-term problems that could happen with the liver due to chocolate ingestion and stuff like that. So even though the dog doesn't look like it's sort of hurt, it's still going to cause problems.
Yeah, I'd heard that it's quite toxic for dogs.
Builds up in
Are some dogs more susceptible to that kind of thing than others, or is it just...
I'm not sure actually about that.
Yeah.
I'd have to check with the vet on that one, but certainly certain breeds are more likely to steal things than others, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it's called a chocolate Labrador, I think.
That's a very good point. You know, I knew a Labrador years ago that ate a kilo of cheese. That dog was not hungry, but some dogs just go, oh my God, I've got to eat it all.
Yeah. Well, dogs are opportunistic. They never know when they're going to get the next food, do they? So they're not grazers. So if they see food, they eat it. Simple as that. It's a great diet to be on, isn't it? Especially around Christmas.
Oh, heck yeah. What else do you need to be wary of?
Right, so grapes. Grapes can cause kidney failure. Now, they don't know whether it's actually the grape or it's the chemicals that are sprayed on the grapes.
Right.
But certainly the raisins and the currants, I've seen dogs die really quickly through those kind of things. And that's the kind of thing that we have in those little mixes in the bowls. And they're just on the table, just big enough for the dog to get his nose over there.
Yeah.
Macadamia nuts, really bad. Garlic, really bad.
Why?
Just really toxic to the liver, generally to the liver mainly, but they can cause seizures and all sorts of cute...
Isn't that bizarre how it's so good for us, supposedly, and not so good for dogs?
Yeah, and I think we've got to bear in mind that there's a certain level that they have to get before they die, so there'll be all these sort of things, but I say don't give them it at all and then we're fine, aren't we?
Yeah, okay.
Dogs are quite clever though, you know, they do tend to... An adult dog will tend to realise it's bad for them, but puppies, they don't know. So they're the ones that are more susceptible. They don't really understand anything.
Just going back to the grapes, I read a study many years ago now that said that with some grapes imported from some countries, this is totally vague, can have up to 9 different systemic sprays. So you can wash them as much as you like.
You never get rid of it.
No, exactly.
And I think that's probably something that we should be thinking about in terms of our bodies as well.
I do when I'm scoffing grapes. I'm thinking, what am I actually... Yeah. That's probably why I look like I do.
Probably best go straight for the wine.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, get rid of all those sprays, just drink the wine. When you're going away from your dog, we all love our dogs, but we don't really give a flying fart, to be honest. We want to go away. We don't want the dog at the beach house with us, so we send the dog to the kennel. But how long is too long?
That's an interesting one. How long?
Because dogs always, they don't know you're coming back, do they?
If you tell them, they do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got to tell them. We joking aside, we always, every time our dogs go to bed, we say, it's nighttime, night sleepies. Yeah. And if we're going away for 3 days, it's 3 night sleepies or 2 night sleepies.
You're not telling me they know. Come on, surely.
I don't know, but it makes me feel better. So then when I'm leaving, possibly I'm not as stressed out about leaving my dog as they are.
Yeah.
And if you take them to a really nice kennels, then they're having a great time anyway. They probably don't even realise you're gone, to be honest.
When I used to pick up my little border terrier, he would be so happy to see you. He was almost having a seizure, wrapping his arms around your leg. Don't leave me again. Incredible. It's quite the jubilation.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you split the family up, haven't you? And if if they don't really know that you're not coming back, suddenly it's like, well, every day they're waking up thinking, is he going to come back today? Or has he left me completely? So we always tell them all the same that we'll be back.
You've got on here pets replacing children. What do you mean by that?
I think sometimes when we buy animals, we buy them for the wrong reasons. And I think we've got to be quite careful that we are not treating our animals like children. And there are some subtle differences that we need to understand. Dogs aren't very good at being humans, and we're not very good at being dogs, basically. So let's make sure that we understand that a dog is a dog and a human is a human. Doesn't mean they can't live happily together. It just means that we have to understand things from a dog's perspective. So showering our dog with 1,000 toys and gifts and loads of food isn't really going to help the dog. It might help a child. It probably won't help a child either, will it? But we just got to make sure that we're behaving appropriately around that child. And I'm not one to dress a dog up in fancy clothes and things like that, apart from Christmas, where it's quite fun, isn't it? But
yeah, it's a bit
that
strange.
sort of thing, it's not a surrogate child, it's a dog. And it needs to be understood. Otherwise, you get behavioural issues, and then you're having to get a behaviourist out to deal with them. It's all your fault.
Well, yeah, that's right. And some of the stuff that we do to dogs, we understand completely what we're doing. The dog has no idea, and we think the dog's having a great time.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, I want to ask you about some of the signals that show you the dog is not completely happy. Now, one thing I picked up on with Izzy was the licking of the top lip and the nose. What does that mean?
So there's a whole load of calming signals that dogs do. Dogs are very good at diffusing situations that they're not comfortable with. And one of the things we do all the time, especially around Christmas, I guess, is we give those dogs a cuddle, don't we? And we put our head right in towards their head. And if you watch every time you do that, you see this great big lip curling, we call it. And it's not just licking you, and it's not just licking the lips because they're hungry. It's like a really big sort of around, almost touching the nose kind of lick, And that's a calming signal to you, or a stress signal to say, just back off, mate, that's too much. Now, some dogs will do that and then they'll accept what's going on, but you're building stress up in a dog. Some dogs, that's a warning. You do it again, bang, they told you, you know, and you may have been nibbled or worse, Especially little babies. When babies jump on dogs, some dogs are so tolerant, but there's only a point where they get to, isn't it?
They can snap, can't they?
Definitely,
All right. There are so many things you can learn by speaking with Darren Rowe from Mindfulness for Dogs, and that's it for the year, isn't it, really?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for everything you've done throughout the year.
Crazy year it's been, though.
Oh, incredible.
Mad year,
it really has. And are you going away for Christmas?
We're going to try and get away. Obviously, with 6 dogs, it's a bit of a hard one, but we're working on that one, shall we say?
Yeah. Okay, Darren, so just for those who haven't managed to catch up with you now, how do they get in touch?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for either Darren Rowe with a D-A-R-R-A-N, okay? Or you can find me at Mindfulness for Dogs or mfordogs.com.co.nz.
Brilliant. Thank you once again. We'll catch up with you again next year.